Christmas is meant to draw the royal family together, a season of rehearsed warmth, shared walks, and silent signals of unity. This year, that picture fractures. Princess Beatrice is keeping her distance, choosing absence over obligation as Prince Andrew is left outside the festive frame. Sources describe a deliberate refusal to meet, unfolding against the shadow of a fresh scandal. Is this a private boundary or a public message? What happened behind palace doors reveals far more than a missing seat this Christmas season alone. A Christmas exclusion that speaks louder than words. Christmas at Sandringham has never been a quiet family moment hidden behind palace walls. It is a public ritual, watched closely every year, where tradition becomes performance and presence becomes meaning. From the shooting parties to the carefully choreographed walks, every detail signals who belongs inside the royal circle and who does not. This year, that signal could not be clearer. Prince Andrew is absent, and so is Sarah Ferguson. Their exclusion is not subtle, accidental, or temporary. According to those familiar with the situation, this is no longer about strained family ties or private disagreements. It is about control, distance, and damage limitation. After years of controversy, the royal family has drawn a hard boundary. Andrew is no longer part of the visible royal Christmas, and there is no sign that this decision is open to negotiation. The message became unmistakable last week. While senior royals gathered at Buckingham Palace for the King's pre-Christmas family lunch, Andrew did not arrive late, slip in quietly, or avoid cameras. He simply was not there. Instead, photographers captured a strikingly different scene. Andrew alone, riding through Windsor Great Park, bundled against the cold. No convoy, no family members. Just one figure moving through a wide, empty landscape at the exact moment others were arriving together elsewhere. It was a quiet image, but it carried weight. In a family where symbolism matters, the contrast felt deliberate. Togetherness on one side, isolation on the other. And this is where the story shifts in a way that makes this Christmas different from the ones before. The distance is no longer only between Andrew and the institution. It now appears to extend into his closest family circle. For years, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie were seen as Andrew's remaining bridge to the public royal world. They attended events with him, appeared supportive, and maintained visible contact even as others stepped back. That pattern now appears to be changing. Reports suggest that Andrew will not be spending Christmas with his daughters, a detail that marks a sharp and deeply personal turn. This is not about diary clashes or logistics. It is about choice. Princess Beatrice's absence is particularly striking. Her decision to step away comes amid renewed scrutiny and what insiders describe as a deliberate effort to protect her own family life. In choosing not to see her father during the holidays, she is not simply avoiding a gathering. She is redefining where her loyalty, responsibility, and future stand. That choice transforms Andrew's isolation from a royal decision into a personal reckoning. Here lies the unexpected twist. The most powerful rejection Andrew faces this Christmas does not come from palace officials, public opinion, or media pressure. It comes quietly, privately, from the very family members once seen as his last line of support. A season designed to project unity now exposes separation at its most intimate level. And as the royal family moves forward, the silence around Andrew's absence may prove far louder than any statement ever could. So what really drives Princess Beatrice's shocking distance? Duty? Self-preservation? Or something even deeper? Could this private rejection reshape royal loyalties forever? Stay with us. A choice that quietly redrew the family lines. As the weight of Andrew's absence settled over Sandringham, attention began to shift toward the people once seen as his closest shield from complete isolation. Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie were both formally invited to join the wider royal family for Christmas. The king is widely understood to remain fond of his nieces, and there has been a careful, consistent effort to separate them from the controversies surrounding their father. In public and private, the message has been clear. The daughters are not the scandal. They are not being punished for it. And yet this year placed them in an impossible position. According to reporting this week, Princess Beatrice faced a decision that carried no easy answer. She was invited to Royal Lodge to spend Christmas with her parents, Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson, a gathering understood to be their final festive season in the Windsor mansion. At the same time, she was also welcome at Sandringham with the king and the rest of the royal family. 2 invitations, 2 paths, each loaded with consequences. In the end, Beatrice chose neither. Instead of appearing at Royal Lodge or walking into Sandringham, Beatrice is reportedly spending Christmas abroad on a skiing holiday with her husband, Edoardo Mappelli Mozzi, and close friends. Sources say the decision was deliberate and carefully weighed. The aim was not rebellion, nor rejection of the wider family, but avoidance. Avoidance of embarrassment, avoidance of relentless cameras, and most importantly, avoidance of being photographed alongside her father at a time when scrutiny has intensified once again. That scrutiny has not eased. Andrew's disgrace, rooted in his links to Jeffrey Epstein, deepened further after additional files were released by U.S. justice officials. Though Andrew was stripped of his royal titles earlier, the renewed attention has stripped away something else this Christmas: any remaining sense of normalcy. One insider described the atmosphere bluntly, saying festive cheer is in short supply, and that Andrew has become a dark presence within his own story, rather than a participant in the season. Princess Eugenie appears to be navigating a similar emotional maze, though with subtle differences. She did attend the king's pre-Christmas family lunch at Buckingham Palace, reportedly as a gesture of appreciation for the support shown to her by both the king and the Prince of Wales. Her presence there suggested alignment with the wider family, even as questions linger about her Christmas plans themselves. What stands out most is not where Eugenie will be, but where she has not been. Neither daughter has been seen at Royal Lodge in recent weeks. And here lies the quiet but striking twist in this unfolding story. The royal family did not publicly bar Beatrice and Eugenie from standing beside their father. No statement forced their distance. Instead, the separation appears to have come from within. By turning down both invitations, Beatrice made a choice that reshaped the narrative entirely. This was no longer about being excluded, it was about stepping away. In a family built on duty, optics, and carefully managed loyalty, choosing absence over alignment sends a powerful signal. The Christmas divide is no longer drawn only by the institution. It now runs through personal decisions, private boundaries, and the unspoken understanding that some images, once captured, can never be undone. Could Princess Beatrice's daring absence from Royal Lodge signal a new royal divide? Or is there a deeper family secret we've yet to uncover? Keep watching. When absence becomes the loudest statement of all, as the picture of a divided Christmas sharpens, even longtime royal observers admit there is little room left for sentiment. Few expect tears to be shed for Andrew Mountbatten Windsor this festive season. Not because the moment lacks gravity, but because the signals are now unmistakable. His daughters are not spending Christmas with him, and that reality alone speaks volumes. Princess Beatrice's decision to go skiing abroad has been widely described as practical, even sensible, given the impossible position she found herself in. If she had gone to Royal Lodge, the message would have been read one way. If she had walked into Sandringham, it would have been read differently. Either choice would have carried weight far beyond a family visit. In stepping away from both, she avoided making a statement publicly while delivering one quietly. To many watching, it looks less like escape and more like survival. A Christmas spent skiing with friends, children in tow, somewhere far from lenses and headlines, removes her from a situation where every photograph would be dissected. It is an option that offers freedom without confrontation. And yet, the very act of leaving has become part of the story. What was once unthinkable for a senior royal daughter has now become the safest path. According to royal commentator Katie Nicholl, the wider family is described as shell-shocked. The pace and depth of Andrew's decline have left those closest to him struggling to adjust. Nicholl reports that Beatrice and Eugenie remain in constant contact with their mother, Sarah Ferguson, but have deliberately placed distance between themselves and their father as the situation around him continues to worsen. This separation is not dramatic or loud. It is careful, controlled, and emotionally loaded. Nowhere is that shift more visible than at Royal Lodge itself. For nearly 20 years, Andrew lived there, a grand and highly symbolic residence within Windsor Great Park. It once represented status, permanence, and proximity to the heart of royal life. This Christmas, it represents something very different. It will be his final festive season in the house. The lease has been handed back, and preparations to leave are already underway, even if the process is moving slowly. What makes this moment particularly striking is not just that Andrew is leaving, but how the house looks as he does. This year, something is missing. The familiar wreaths that once hung on the gates of Royal Lodge have not appeared. The Christmas tree that usually welcomed visitors has not been put up. For the first time since Andrew moved in, there are no visible decorations outside the property. To an ordinary family, these might seem like small, almost meaningless details. In royal life, they are anything but. Symbolism is the language of the monarchy. Decorations signal belonging. Lights suggest warmth. Their absence suggests withdrawal. And here lies the unexpected twist that reframes the entire narrative. Andrew is not just being distanced by the institution or avoided by the public. He appears to be withdrawing himself, retreating from the very rituals that once anchored him to royal life. While his daughters step away to protect their futures, Royal Lodge stands bare, reflecting a man slowly fading from view. This Christmas is not defined by confrontation or announcements. It is defined by empty spaces, undecorated gates, and the quiet decisions of those closest to him. And as the season unfolds, it becomes increasingly clear that Andrew's greatest loss is not public standing, but the gradual disappearance of the family life that once surrounded him. And now, could Andrew's empty halls and absent daughters signal a deeper royal fracture? What truly remains when family retreats and tradition quietly disappears? A festive reckoning behind closed doors. As the silence around Royal Lodge deepens, insiders say Andrew Mountbatten Windsor is now confronting something far more personal than public rejection. He is struggling with the physical reality of packing up a life that once felt permanent. Boxes are being filled not just with belongings, but with reminders of a position, a routine, and an identity that no longer exist. What makes this moment sharper is that the strain is no longer confined to his relationship with the monarchy. It has reached into the one bond that appeared unbreakable. For years, Andrew's relationship with Sarah Ferguson was described as unusually close, even after their divorce. They continued living under the same roof, presenting a united front that suggested loyalty and familiarity outlasting marital labels. That arrangement, however, is now fracturing. Insiders say the relationship is under strain in a way it has never been before. Sarah is reportedly searching for separate accommodation, confirming that their long-standing living situation at Royal Lodge is coming to an end. The split is not dramatic, but it is decisive. Another pillar quietly removed. This raises an uncomfortable question that no one close to Andrew seems able to answer clearly. What does Christmas actually look like for him this year? It is widely understood that an invitation to King Charles's family gathering at Sandringham is not on the table. Those close to the situation say there is little debate left. The former Duke of York is not expected to appear at the estate, not for walks, not for lunch, not even for the brief, carefully managed moments that once allowed him to remain visible. The door, at least publicly, is closed. Some commentators have been blunt. Jokes about him not being invited to the Monopoly table barely disguise the seriousness beneath them. Prince William, long reported to be deeply uncomfortable with Andrew's presence at family events, appears to have drawn a final line. Observers point back to moments like the funeral of the Duchess of Kent, where Andrew's attendance reportedly caused visible unease. Those feelings, insiders say, were not forgotten. They hardened into resolve. And yet, the story does not end with complete abandonment. Biographer Andrew Lowney believes there may still be one final private moment before Royal Lodge falls silent for good. He suggests there could be a small farewell gathering, not a royal event, but a personal one. A handful of long-standing friends, people who have remained loyal despite everything, may visit Andrew there one last time. No cameras, no statements, just a quiet acknowledgement of an ending. Others, however, describe a far lonelier picture. They say even that small gathering is uncertain, and that Andrew's Christmas may pass with little more than routine and reflection. What makes this moment particularly striking is the contrast with everything that has come before. His daughters are abroad or elsewhere. His former wife is preparing to move on. The wider family has stepped back. The house itself is being emptied. Andrew is not simply being excluded from Christmas, he is watching every version of it disappear at once. Not just Sandringham, but Royal Lodge. Not just royal tradition, but domestic life. The scandal may have triggered the fall, but Christmas is revealing its true cost. And as preparations continue behind closed doors, the most defining moment may not be who visits Andrew this festive season, but who does not. But what does it truly mean when even family traditions vanish? Has Andrew lost more than Christmas, and could anyone ever fill that void? Stay glued. A silent screen and a calculated absence. As the days shorten and Christmas edges closer, those watching Andrew Mountbatten Windsor describe a man retreating further from the world that once revolved around him. One royal watcher suggests he now spends more time than ever sitting in front of the television. Largely alone, passing hours in quiet routine as life beyond Royal Lodge continues without him. It is a stark contrast to the public-facing role he once held. And the stillness only deepens the sense that this Christmas is unlike any before. Sarah Ferguson, however, cuts a very different figure. Those who know her say resilience has always been her defining trait. For better or worse, she finds a way forward. Friends imagine her trying to breathe energy into a season that feels weighed down by loss, perhaps over-decorating, inviting guests, refusing to let the moment shrink into silence. Others believe she is already planning her next chapter, quietly preparing for a future away from Royal Lodge. Yet even for someone known for bouncing back, there are limits. This year tests them. Within the wider royal family, the meaning of Christmas has never been purely personal. It is about visibility, about who is seen and where. It is about belonging. And this year, the message being sent is unmistakable. Andrew is excluded. His daughters are stepping away with care and calculation. Princess Beatrice's choice to spend Christmas abroad, Princess Eugenie's careful alignment with the wider family, and the absence of both from Royal Lodge all point in the same direction. This is not chaos. It is choreography. Behind these decisions lies a broader reality the palace cannot ignore. Public support for the monarchy remains fragile, especially among younger generations. Polling continues to suggest a strong appetite for reform, transparency, and change. King Charles is acutely aware that every image released, every gathering photographed, carries weight far beyond tradition. In that context, including Andrew in the royal Christmas, even quietly and without fanfare, would not be seen as kindness. It would be seen as a misstep. This is where the story takes its most revealing turn. Andrew's exclusion is not simply about punishment or distancing. It is about preservation. The monarchy is protecting its future by drawing lines that were once unthinkable. The cost of that protection is now being paid in private moments, empty rooms, and carefully avoided encounters. For the first time, Andrew's isolation aligns with a broader strategy rather than a temporary response to scandal. Meanwhile, Sarah's resilience, once a source of comfort, now highlights the imbalance between them. While she searches for light, Andrew appears fixed in shadow, watching events unfold rather than shaping them. The television becomes both companion and barrier, a way to stay connected without truly engaging. Outside, the absence of decorations, visitors, and family underscores what has changed. And yet, the most unexpected twist lies not in Andrew's withdrawal, but in the calm acceptance surrounding it. There is no dramatic fallout, no loud protest from within the family. Instead, there is quiet agreement. A shared understanding that this Christmas, separation serves a purpose. The institution moves forward. The daughters protect their futures. The king safeguards the crown. What remains unresolved is how long this silence can last, and whether retreat can ever become reconciliation. As Christmas approaches, the divide feels complete, but the story itself is still unfolding, shaped not by what is said, but by what is deliberately left out of the picture. Now, what will truly break the silence? Will family ties survive this scandal? Or has Princess Beatrice's distance sealed an unthinkable rift? Stay tuned. The next generation faces the weight of scandal. The shadow of Jeffrey Epstein stretches far, and it seems that this Christmas it has finally forced the next generation of the royal family to make a choice, one that prioritizes personal reputation over traditional family loyalty. The implications are profound. Princess Beatrice's decision to spend the festive season skiing abroad, rather than joining her father at Royal Lodge or the wider family at Sandringham, is not simply a matter of preference. It reflects a modern solution to an age-old dilemma. How do you honor your parents while avoiding being dragged into their mistakes? In many ways, this year's Royal Christmas mirrors the complexities faced by families everywhere. There is a quiet, almost invisible awkwardness in countless homes when family members are at odds or separated during the holidays. But when those disagreements are amplified by international scandal, media scrutiny, and the looming loss of a historic residence, the stakes rise dramatically. Royal observers note that Andrew's situation at Royal Lodge has become symbolic of both personal and institutional decline. For nearly 20 years, the residence represented stability, continuity, and a connection to the heart of royal tradition. This year, it stands empty, its gates undecorated, the usual Christmas tree absent, signaling not just a physical void, but the emotional and social rupture of a man gradually being removed from the life he once commanded. Princess Beatrice's choice is deeply revealing. By stepping away, she protects herself and her immediate family while also sending a subtle message about boundaries and self-preservation. She is not abandoning her father in a traditional sense. Rather, she is navigating a new era where proximity and loyalty cannot automatically shield one from the consequences of scandal. Eugenie, too, appears to be walking this tightrope carefully, attending some family events, but keeping distance from Royal Lodge. Both sisters are in constant contact with their mother, Sarah Ferguson, who is herself preparing for a separate chapter in life, confirming that the old patterns of cohabitation and shared tradition are coming to an end. The drama is compounded by the public optics, Andrew's absence from Sandringham, the daughter's physical and symbolic distancing, and the quiet stripping of Royal Lodge of its festive cheer all combine to create a narrative far more powerful than any press statement could achieve. The most decisive distancing does not come from the institution or the public, but from the daughters themselves. By choosing where they will, or will not, be, Beatrice and Eugenie are quietly reshaping the story, asserting autonomy in a family defined by duty and protocol. In the end, this Christmas becomes more than a holiday. It is a test of values, loyalty, and self-preservation. Beatrice's decision encapsulates a universal challenge, balancing duty, love, and the desire for a fresh start. The royal family, as always, mirrors society at large, reflecting the struggles, dilemmas, and sometimes heartbreaking choices that confront us all when family, responsibility, and personal well-being collide. This season, the absence of one man and the careful steps of his daughters may speak louder than any celebration ever could. As Princess Beatrice vanishes from Royal Lodge this Christmas, what hidden truths lie behind her choice? And who will truly feel the loss? The lonely halls of Royal Lodge. As Christmas approaches, the reality for Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has never been clearer or colder. For the first time in decades, he will likely spend the festive season isolated, removed from the traditions that once defined his role within the royal family. There will be no Sandringham photographs capturing cheerful walks across snow-dusted grounds, no carefully staged family moments to soften public scrutiny, no daughters beside him to offer the smallest comfort of togetherness. Instead, he faces a large, near-empty house slowly being emptied of the life it once contained. Royal Lodge, which Andrew has called home for nearly 20 years, now stands as both a symbol and a witness to his decline. The festive cheer that once marked its gates, wreaths, lights, and the towering Christmas tree has been stripped away. Inside, half-packed boxes tower in quiet corners, filled with objects that once marked status, tradition, and continuity. Each item placed carefully in cardboard carries weight far heavier than the materials themselves. Memories of gatherings, of family rituals, and of a role slowly slipping away. The house, nearly silent, mirrors the transformation of its residents' place within both family and monarchy. Observers note that this is not merely the absence of ritual, but the tangible expression of a man left behind by an institution that has moved on. His daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, have carefully stepped aside, choosing paths that safeguard their own reputations while signaling subtle independence. Beatrice, in particular, has opted for a skiing holiday abroad with her husband, Edo Mapelli Mosi, and friends, avoiding both her father's final Christmas at Royal Lodge and the wider family celebrations at Sandringham. Eugenie, though she attended the King's pre-Christmas lunch at Buckingham Palace, maintains distance from Royal Lodge, preserving a careful balance between loyalty and self-preservation. Even those who have remained close to Andrew are few, with only long-term friends potentially visiting for what may be a quiet farewell. The family dynamics that once provided support now underscore absence. Sarah Ferguson is seeking separate accommodation, marking the formal end to a long-standing living arrangement, and the wider royal circle has drawn clear boundaries. The festive season, meant to be a time of warmth and visibility, instead illuminates separation, distance, and the stark consequences of scandal. And yet, Andrew's isolation is defined not only by exclusion from the institution, but by the choices of those closest to him. His daughter's deliberate absence transforms what could have been a routine, private estrangement into a dramatic statement of autonomy and boundaries. Royal Lodge, once a place of shared tradition, now serves as a quiet stage for the most telling rituals of all: absence, retreat, and the slow, undeniable reshaping of family ties. In a house nearing the end of its chapter, with half-packed boxes scattered across silent halls, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor confronts a Christmas unlike any he has known. Gone are the familiar rituals, the laughter-filled walks, and the carefully staged family photographs that once marked the season. There will be no festive cheer to soften scrutiny, no daughters at his side, and no gatherings to offer even a fleeting sense of belonging. While the full details of any royal holiday are never entirely visible to the public, this year the message is clear. Tradition has been replaced by absence. It is a season that will be remembered less for celebration and more for the quiet, lingering echoes of departure, the weight of deliberate choices, and the stark, unavoidable truth of a man left behind, watching the life he knew slowly slip away. So, what do you think? Was Princess Beatrice's choice to skip Royal Lodge this Christmas a bold act of self-preservation or a heartbreaking betrayal? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.